Hmm.
I am resident of Cullen for YouTube. Joel Sayins, that is my buddy Patrick McCray, that is my buddy Alan Gallant. We are here to continue our Star Trek movie review for Star Trek Nemesis. Directed by
Star Trek
Stuart.
Enema? No, no.
No, Nemesis. Like Resident Evil Nemesis, but
Okay, okay. All
without the
right. I got it
zombies.
straight now.
Without the zombies. Directed by Stuart Bard. Screenplay by John Logan. Story by John Logan. Rick Brent Spiner also contributed to story
Yeah,
of
I
this.
think he had some story ideas about his character.
Yeah,
They
yeah.
were neighbors.
Yeah.
hmm Produced by Rick Berman. Cinematographer is Jeffrey L. Kimball. Music by Jerry Goldsmith. Edited by Dallas Pruitt. Let's see. Release dates December. Oh, this has got a couple. Yay! December 9th, 2002, Los Angeles premiere. December 13th, 2002, United States. Yay! Budget 60 million. Box office $67.3 million. So, guys, when did you first see this bad boy?
Opening week.
Opening day. Mm.
Nice, nice. I actually saw that this was my first in theater experiences. I saw this a week after it came out. Uh,
This was my last year in Maine, living in Maine before I moved to Florida. It was '02. Moved in '03.
cool,
Yeah.
cool, awesome. Uh, what did you guys think of the plot of this one, Alice?
It moves very
Yes.
nicely and gracefully. And I did not know who Tom Hardy was at the time. And I was impressed with him,
hmm
horrified by him. He was very intense. And, he proved his mettle in later movies, obviously, and
Yeah.
television series. Uh, it's a very cool concept. It's one, the whole DNA concept was big deal in the early 2000s anyway. So it's very, very much in the headlines and everything. So it was a really timely thing to do, cloning and all of that sort of thing. So that was kind of cool to have. Also, it's a yin and yang thing. It's the dark side, light side, and they merge kind of, in different ways. Um, the idea of an ultimate weapon being, hanging over the universe, and having to stop that motivates and propels. Um,
Lives and separates.
It lifts and separates. Well, that was actually that's Riker and Deanna, but they're lifting and separating throughout the movie. And there's kind of the human interest in the celebratory stuff going on to start with, in order to, and to contrast against worlds colliding and all of this other stuff that's going on. So overall, I thought it was great. It moves. It makes sense, and there's certainly, even though I liked the last movie, I have to agree with Patrick that it didn't all make sense.
Yeah.
So, but this one certainly does, and it has a texture to it that's consistent. Um, I love the cinematography in it. It's really, the contrast between dark and light is, so unbelievably obvious, but still skillfully done. It's not like they're trying to hit you over the head with a brick. So,
Yeah. Now, I think the cinematography in this is very beautiful aboard both ships, by the way. Uh, I love how the Romulans look in this. I love how the other aliens look in this. The Remans, I think. Are,
the Remans, yes,
yeah, I didn't want to
yes.
mispronounce that.
Planet Remus, Romulus and Remus from Roman mythology. So
Yeah. So I like the heels here. Very, very good. Looks like Picard. You have a android that looks like Data. Like it was very creepy. Yeah, because
yes,
this did have a bit of touch of horror to it. Not the way First Contact did, but in a little different way. So I did enjoy that about this,
yes,
and
yes.
I like the villains. Patrick, what do you think?
I really like this movie. And having said that, let me get three things out of the way that I have questions about. The first thing I have a question about is I really wish there had been some mention of lore. And I'm not sure there's a mention of lore in the whole movie.
No, it's called Before.
Well, yeah, but it's not lore,
It's not lore. It's
clearly.
going to be. It's going to be data again.
So working that, yeah, I know, but
Yeah.
just working the gosh, is it going to be like lore or something
Right.
like that?
Right. Yes. They.
I don't think it's fan service. I think is just acknowledgement of. Well, wait a minute, we ran into one of these before. Is it
Is
lore?
it going to be? Yeah, just to mention it. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh yeah,
And
and
then realize the relief when you find out he's kind of a blank slate,
yeah.
at least at first.
I think the reason that didn't happen was that it was one of these moves by the franchise to get a wider audience. And you mention lore, then you have to mention where lore came from. You have to mention
Right.
all the history of that, and it begins to bog things down. So I guess I answered my own question. Um,
Well, I
the
mean,
the second question I have is something that is so obvious. Maybe that's the reason it wasn't done. But it's this: it's through some techno babble doohingus. Why did they not have Shinzon artificially aged a few more decades so Patrick Stewart could have played dual roles? Because Patrick Stewart versus Patrick Stewart to me seems like an implied possibility in the
yeah,
concept of the movie.
maybe had the age accelerator work, but at the same time, it was still killing him because there was a break in his DNA or something.
Yes, I mean the man only played Sejanus,
Yeah.
pretty good in the villain department.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's not a flaw in the movie.
Yeah.
It's just a question I have when I watch it. It's like, why did they discuss that and what came up with it?
Another possibility that
Yeah.
you. Yeah.
The third and last, I don't want to say cavil, but question I have is this: because the movie is controversial
Mm-hmm.
among Star Trek fans and critics and so on and so forth, and I kind of wonder if one of the small parts of that is because it's kind of like holding a retirement party for a teenager. It's clearly a last movie, and maybe Brent Spiner wants a last movie because he's only playing an old Data.
Yeah.
And maybe Patrick Stewart's ready to kind of do blunt talk and move on to some other things, because Picard's basically become an action hero in the past couple of movies. But it clearly has all the earmarks of this is an ending, this is time for transitions. Not a bad thing to do. It's not like they're all retiring from Starfleet,
Right.
but at the same time, there's kind of this air of unintended sadness that hangs around the movie because it is so clearly a final film of that phase of the franchise. And
Yeah.
I question that, when you see all of the death and termination stuff going on in Star Trek 2, we feel lucky that we're able to see them again because we never
Yes.
thought we'd see them again. And okay, so they're talking about this. Well, that's fine because that's what we've been facing with the characters. This is the last we'll ever see them, blah, blah, blah.
Right.
With this, hey, we're in the middle of the main leg of the franchise. And, maybe it's a bit early for that. And I think that is not a conceptual problem or anything. It's just it's a little soon to say goodbye or to think that we might be saying goodbye to all of them without something solid. I mean, I almost would have wanted the Avengers in reverse. Now we're going to get to see spin-off movies for these characters or something like that. That would have been really cool. So, and who knows what they had planned? I assume something was planned with Martin Madden, continuing as the new first officer and stuff like that. So those are the concerns I have, the questions I have. Positive, and those aren't even negatives. They're just now the things that are just unalloyed affection. It's a rich movie. It pulls on all of the right heartstrings at the right time. Lines like "Make It So" and so on at the wedding,
Yeah.
ironically rendered, but they get to you.
Yep.
There are satisfying things that happen in this film that we wanted to see. The wedding, the Riker and Troy, okay, Straczynski Riker finally gets his commission. Good, and he takes it. So, you know, STFU. Uh, and and so on. We like
Yes.
all of those things. Um, the plot is big. I got to read the screenplay. But a lot of people like to say that the movie was not the success they wanted it to be because of Stuart Baird. And Stuart Baird apparently didn't know that Geordi was a human and all kinds of stuff like that. But you know what? There's nothing that hurts the movie about Stuart
Yeah,
Baird's interpretation of that.
that doesn't read when you
You
read
had
this.
you had guest directors all the time on TV.
Hmm.
So what? I don't think it has anything to do with Stuart Baird. I think it has to do with weird audience expectations and the zeitgeist maybe having a little bit of Star Trek fatigue. And because we had what Voyager just gone off the air.
Hmm.
DS9 was off the air. They were getting, I guess they were, I think Enterprise had gone on the air. So that was 2001. This is 2002.
Yes.
So they had Enterprise, and that was had its bland moments. So I think Star Trek had headed into a very safe place, and we had that 1994 explosion, like 8 years prior, I guess, to a lot of Star Trek just in 1 year. And I don't know if people really knew what utility Star Trek had in the post 9/11 world, but it starts beautifully. I mean, my God, killing the Romulan Senate,
Yeah.
holy holies. And it maintains that sense of kind of epicness and fun. And the screenplay, if you yo ho Pirates Like for me, find it, is a cracking good read. I read that before I saw the movie, and it really primed me to be very excited for it, and it paid off.
Cool. I think you kind of answered your own question when you asked why didn't they have Patrick Stewart play the villain as well, is because probably this was the last Star Trek movie they were doing, and maybe they didn't want to have him play a villain and the hero at the same time, and give a sort of a mixed reaction. I'm not saying that was the reason. I'm saying that was probably could have been the reason.
Douglas will always be the villain.
Yeah. I will say that I agree with you because I mean,
Yeah.
I had already seen him as a villain in the movie Masterminds, and he was really good in that. So, but Al, what did you think of the plot?
I thought the plot was great, and everybody, villain and hero alike, got their shot, their place
Yeah.
in the sun or the shadow, whichever you want. But it was really well. It's a good fabric. It was woven very well. And one of the standouts to me, and when I first saw this movie, I somehow I spaced it and didn't realize that Ron Perlman was playing the Viceroy. And then I, kept hearing his voice, and I'm going, that sounds a lot like, But this is also before he did Hellboy, just a couple years before. Um, by the way, Perlman has made it known that he would love to do one more Hellboy movie now that he's in his 70s, which he could
Wrestling can
do.
count.
He could do it. I mean, the suit would be exhausting because it's a full body kind of suit. But
Materials.
what's that?
We always have newer materials.
Yes, it's true. The materials have advanced immensely in the last 21 years. Um, but anyway, I thought he did a magnificent job. His modulation and emotional modulation behind all that makeup, as one of the Remans, the head guy kind of. It was great. I mean, he shows hesitation, he shows loyalty, he shows pause, he shows you're crazy a few times, but he just kind of modulates it.
Proud.
The whole thing, and he shows love to the guy. He does, all of this stuff is happening in this character, and anger and rage and homicidal fighting skills and everything else. He's got all that stuff going for him.
it's a great just 60s space hero test of metal to see Riker be the one to take him on.
Yeah.
That's one.
Yep. Yep. Yep.
So, Worf is the obvious choice.
Yeah.
Right?
It is because and he's certainly got a couple of good battles in over the last couple of films. So, um,
But that's a Riker job. It certainly
yeah.
is not a Stephen Collins job.
Yeah.
You know, say that right now.
There
That's
is
a
no such thing anymore as a Stephen Collins job.
oh, that's true. That's in the
Except
music.
in the Epstein files.
Oh, I mean, Ron Palillo. See Ron
Oh,
Palillo versus the Viceroy.
there you go.
Signed Epstein's mother.
Yes. But the plot's great. It's fantastic. It starts on a human scale and a nice emotional scale and builds into action the way it should, and then you're out there where you should be
And
in a
and
Star Trek movie.
I love the Argo because the thing is that a any anti-gravity device, which we're certainly used to seeing, is going to require a hell of a lot of energy.
Yes.
And it's much more efficient just to have something pushing four wheels.
Yeah.
And so, where you're conserving energy and God knows what you're using for other things, it makes all the sense in the world.
Yeah, and it allowed the boys to be boys. Oh, let's go speeding around the planet's surface. It's that kind of
We're
thing.
having a lot of fun in this movie.
Uh-huh.
Now, I would like to see a time travel story where we go back and we find out what crime interstellar traveler Irving Berlin did to the Klingon people. That I would absolutely make that story.
Yeah, he almost went into a stroke, mini stroke. Irving Berlin.
So he does his hangover bad.
Ron Perlman and Tom Hardy became friends on the set, Perlman said in an interview 8 years after the release of this film. So Nemesis called for a number of new ship and vehicle designs. Illustrator John Eves developed concept art for the new craft, collaborating with the artists at Effects House Digital Domain to adjust the designs as necessary when something worked in a two-dimensional drawing. It did not look right. Once realized with three-dimensional computer-generated imagery, CGI, Shinron's Sinclair was designed to appear to have a shared lineage with a new Romulan warbird designs. That's cool. That's cool. So a lot of cool looking ships. Let's see. But with the Romulan ships being sleeker, and the Reman ships more aggressive looking with sharper edges. That's cool. That's cool. The new warbirds retained elements from the warbird Andrew Probert had designed for the next generation, namely a bird-like bow. He was also consulted reference books for the ideas on how to create feather-like patterns. That's cool. That's cool. Really, really, really.
I think credit also needs to be given. We're talking about design in the movie to Bob Ringwood. And am I wrong? Was Bob Ringwood involved in this? I think he designed, the really wacky Romulan costumes or Reman costumes, specifically that amazing iridescent suit that Tom Hardy wears.
Mm-hmm.
And Ringwood designed, if I'm correct, and he was involved in this, I think he was. Ringwood designed the still suits in Dune and designed I think some of the early Michael Keaton bat suits.
So what you're looking under, Jewel, is costume design.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm looking at now is design itself. Let's see.
That Shinzen suit, that very fitted Shinzen suit, was never worn by James Doohan.
No.
Small bit of trivia.
It would have had a slimming effect, however.
The steam that would have risen when it was open. You could put Brussels sprouts in there, and they would have cooked beautifully.
Yeah. I don't see his name in here, but again,
I swear Bob's involved in this.
but he could be. Hold on. What's his name?
Bob Ringwood.
Ringwood.
If not, it's a Ringwoodian design. I need to be wrong about that. But
You are correct. You are correct. Yes, Bob Ringwood
Oh.
was involved. He is a costume designer known for his work. Yes, so yes, he did do what you're saying. Yes, there we go.
now, another good Logan theme in the story is family, and people will separate from family, searching for family, and figure out what is family. And that, I think, is a nice thread to pick up the ham-fisted handling of it in Generations, I think. And it becomes, I think, one of the quiet motifs. Well, it's one of the motifs of the original series movies, of that regeneration trilogy, the Genesis trilogy.
Yep.
Which, by the way, it might be interesting to do a retrospective at some point, maybe at the end of this, going back and looking at what I call the Genesis trilogy, which is 2, 3, and 4, as do what I do with the daybook, which is say, okay, well, what if this was all intended as one story from the get-go? How does it hang together? What does it tell? What's it saying? I did that when the DVDs were coming out, and I got to sit down and watch them for the first time. And it's an interesting way to look at the films. So I just throw that out there.
Cool. Yeah, we can look at that for sure. What's some of you guys' favorite scenes?
Let's see. I really like the dinner scene between Sinjin
Yes.
and Picard. I really like that because it really sets tension. It also fills in detail and establishes a lot about the character. The introduction of Sinjin also establishes a lot about the character. I mean, he says, "Hey, you're going to want my blood. Take it." It's like, okay.
And I ask, why do the characters always pick the most useful parts of their anatomy? Like the
Cut.
palm of the hand, right in the thing, right across the thumb.
Yeah.
It's like, whatever happened to your forearm?
Yeah.
Something you're not going to be rubbing up against things. You're having
or needing to grip things.
Oh my God. I really that's one of those things where it just breaks up. And when Troy or when Crusher is testing the blood afterwards, really expecting something to burst out of it like in the thing.
Yeah.
It cuts to Wilford Brimley.
It's just right.
Back to my oatmeal.
It's not me.
Going back to my oatmeal. Remo, son. Get
So
the bald guy.
obviously that dinner scene is really good, but also the final battle scene is really, again, you kind of like the action in this movie. And
it's good action. Good action. I love flying through the corridors in the shuttle.
Mm-hmm.
And when Picard gives them a taste of their own medicine,
yeah.
blasting big. This is a movie for Picard driving things where other characters are shooting big guns.
Yes.
It happens all the time.
Yeah. The TV series and the movies always strove to make sure that Picard was an equal of Kirk in a lot of ways. That he was willing to put his life on the line over and above many of his crew members, and this just follows through on that.
An interesting choice. I don't know if Patrick Stewart pushed that or what. Even in the series, to make him so virile. Because I don't think that's how the character was initially designed. He was supposed to be much more of a Jacques Cousteau type character. In fact, he wasn't even Captain Jean-Luc Picard. He was Dr. Julian Picard when the character was first introduced. And that Riker was going to be the one who goes out and does all that stuff. Yeah. And he was going to sit back and be the analyst. And that's why I thought so much of, when Next Generation was being developed, of the second season of Buck Rogers.
Yeah.
I really did. And for some reason,
Patrick.
hello.
Hi.
Hi.
come home, and as I was coming around the corner, I had my high beams on so I could see because I'm blind at night. And I seen literally, no joke, 12 deer.
Wow.
There was 12 deer in the field across from our house. I'm like,
Jules
holy
slain them?
heck, it's a deer party.
Jules, had you slain them and laid their bodies out in a ritual fashion in front of the home?
He lays
Mountain
birch
wife.
bark out for them to
Oh,
eat.
no, you're
Tell
slacking,
the earth
bud.
to
Go get
provide.
some deer.
Oh my god.
You wearing part of like from the waist?
Oh my god. So one of my favorite scene in this is how Picard says, you know, he's telling the villain something about his overconfidence, and he cuts the guy off. It's so cool. It's so cold blooded. It's so fucking good. I love how fast this movie moves too, just like the previous movie. It's
a big movie. It's got a lot in it, and
yeah, I know. It's just like so.
And it's 5 minutes shy of 2 hours. So
yeah, it doesn't feel like it though.
No, it goes.
Yeah, that's what they actually almost had an additional, I think, 160 minutes of this movie.
It's a big script.
Yeah.
That's why I advise you, yo-ho, if you can find the script, read it. It's a very, very, very good. It's very descriptive script, and no flies on Stuart Baird or the cast.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's a better read than it was a movie. It's a good movie, very good movie. It's a great script. It's really entertaining.
Yeah, the first cut of this in the original movie was 160 minutes long. So there you go.
I would love to see that cut. I wish Paramount would release it in the name of historicity.
Stuart, it's called director's cut, dog. Paramount, get this shit done, dog. Get it done. Because I would watch that. I'd watch that in a heartbeat. This was good. I mean, this is a fucking 12, easily.
Yeah, easily over 10. Yeah.
Yeah.
Bury the needle.
That's it.
I you guys like this movie because I like this movie a lot.
Yeah.
And I find myself defending it, here and there, and I'm proud.
A lot of people have to defend it because of its initial release was not as anticipated, and I think you're right. I think people expected something else.
I
don't know what, but they,
Okay, so I think the second Lord of the Rings movie came out maybe the week before. The Two Towers, with all the big everybody got real sick.
You got stomped by the $1 billion film a little bit at least, yeah.
And that had taken over the narrative of what cinematic,
blockbusters,
otherworldly action was going to be.
Yeah.
And I thought it was boring. I got tired of watching things shoot each other in the rain. It's just like.
Yeah, I mean, the Lord of the Rings trilogy, the books I loved. I read them years ago. I think I was like 14 or something, and 14, 15, somewhere in there. But the movies, they could have chopped and made one nice movie out of all of that.
If Rankin and Bass ain't doing it, I ain't watching it.
Yeah. That's right.
They got it right. I mean,
that was what 77 or something like that. 1977, the animated version in
72. Yeah, they did because it's what they had.
They did The Hobbit.
They did The Hobbit and Return of the King.
Yeah.
And they're both great watches. I mean, they really are. They're a lot of fun.
Yep. Yeah, I agree. I always liked Rankin Bass. So, I mean, they did a whole bunch of those Christmas specials when I was little.
When there's a whip, there's a way.
Yeah.
Yeah. I hope one day we get a Battlestar Galactica movie. If that'd be cool.
Well, that franchise is apparently being rebooted again.
Cool.
They've reconceptualized it already once. I mean, successfully. I mean, it's completely reconceptualized.
Yeah.
You had Cylons walking around that looked like runway models.
Yeah.
And different things like that. So it was, and it was, it worked.
Interesting thing about that show, that I have never seen in my life a franchise become more celebrated on a wide plane, cover of Time magazine, et cetera, then vanish so quickly into cultural obscurity. Where I talked to all sorts of people, even in their 20s, and I said, it's like the thing in Battlestar Galactica. I never saw it. But then I asked them, well, did you ever see Lost? of the same era? And they go, nope. So I'm getting old and there's too much media.
Yeah, yeah, and the choices are different now for this the Zoomers. The choices are different. Uh,
And
the original Battlestar Galactica really petered out fast.
I think about halfway into the first reel.
And yeah, and Galactica 80 was like the resurrection of a like a zombie or something. It was just terrible.
I was a kid when that came out, and Galactica 80 for me I preferred just because I was a kid.
Guest stars all over the place.
Yeah,
Cool.
I was 9,
Yeah.
and it was fun. It allowed it. So you had the flying motorcycles and all of that. Roger Dick.
Yeah.
And
It was definitely like after Dr. Smith took over.
yeah, because I mean,
Lost in
let's
Space.
face it, the Laxative wasn't working as a straight series.
Yeah.
So let's
Yeah.
try this.
Yeah.
could you imagine if Battlestar Galactica had been canceled before John Carpenter's Halloween, so Anne Margaret could have took the role when John Carpenter offered her Laurie Strode? Could you imagine that? Anne Margaret. Anne Margaret.
Anne Margaret was good. Wait, Laurie Strode's is
Jamie Lee Curtis.
Jamie Lee Curtis.
okay. I'm sorry, you don't mean Anne Margaret. Anne Margaret was in her 40s.
I think you mean Anne Lockhart.
Anne
Anna
Lockhart.
Lockhart. Sorry, Anna Lockhart. Sorry.
Yeah.
Anna
Yeah, well,
Lockhart.
that would have been good.
Yeah,
But
she would have been fine. She's of the type. Absolutely.
Yeah.
now I'll say this:
Mhm.
telling tales out of school on Babylon 5, June Lockhart
Yeah.
was quite the rapacious um uh uh expert in the ways of love.
I've heard that she was quite the pistol.
Yeah. She was.
Kept her young.
I think this is bad gossip. It's good gossip. She was a rake.
Yeah.
She really knew what she wanted. And she went after it, and she got it. And that's I think it's fantastic.
Yeah. Very, very beautiful. So, guys,
She retained her. I mean, she just had that energy throughout her entire life, up to advanced old age.
no. Is there anything you guys want to add about this movie before we get?
Yeah, it's definitely it's an easy 12.
Cool. Yeah.
The great lost soldier of I think Star Trek mythos, because it all that stuff got dropped for Picard. They didn't mention any of it, and I want to find out what happens to Martin Madden.
Yeah.
I really do.
Man, it'd be nice. Definitely be nice to
I
see.
would have enjoyed seeing what John Logan's Picard would have turned out to be.
Yeah. Especially after this. Especially after that. Yeah.
This is the beginning of it. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. For sure. Yeah. The principal photography, by the way, for those who didn't know, this movie began on December of 01 in Southern California. In promotional interviews, Patrick Stewart stated that room for a sequel was initially left open. So there you go.
Yeah, because you got Data's not really dead, and looking back at it, you don't want to telegraph things, but I wish I don't know how you can make it a more data centric story than having B4 and all of that, running. But I still think maybe a little bit more of a data centric story where he has other issues, going on, would have been interesting. Star Trek First Contact, I think, really clearly establishes a father-son situation with Picard, even though they never wanted to call it that or go that far. That's there. And looking at Picard's reaction, Data's death, it's there. One thing that would have been interesting, and this is not me telling people how it should have been written, but would have been interesting, at least in a story conference, is that Data would have been ascending as first officer, and this would have given him an opportunity to start to ruminate on, well, what are the next steps of being human that I'm taking. I'm going into a father role for or a sub father role for the ship, and and not to treat it comically. Oh, Data fucks up again, on something and learns a lesson about being human. No, he's contemplating it, but he's not over contemplating it. And just lessons about passages, rites of passage.
Yeah, and I think the relationship between he and Geordi would be more to the fore too, because Geordi assists him in you know adjusting his neural net and giving him advice and doing all of that.
And I don't recall exactly, but I think the original screenplay was richer in the post data section. I think Logan knows what he's doing. He really does.
Mm-hmm. You wanted to talk about Genesis, I believe.
Well, that was just a thought that when we finish all
3 movies that have to do with Genesis.
because I assume we do Star Trek 09 next.
Yeah.
That maybe we look at Star Trek's 2, 3, and 4 together as a trilogy, because it kind of is. So how does that work? What does that look like?
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, we'll do the other Star Trek movies first, and then we'll come back to that. Yeah, okay. I misunderstood you. I apologize. Links to Patrick McCray's Dark Shadows Day Book of Bound is going to be in the description box. Link to Alan Gallant's YouTube channel, Collinsport After Dark. He's got a new video up. God damn it! Go watch it. It's really, really good. It's going to be in the description box as well. You guys have a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful day. I'll see you tomorrow night for another Star Trek movie. 09!
09 and Chris Pine.
Yeah, Chris Pine. He has a good Dungeons and Dragons movie. Have a good one, guys.
See you later.
Bye.